often thought when something works really well, let's say you have a new idea, a new approach, an addition to something that made the result of what you were trying to do really good. And then you have the thought, oh, I gotta remember that. And you're placing the success on that one factor. And then when you try to do the same thing in a different situation, it doesn't work the same way, and it's not the same effect and not the same success. And it's a bit of a confusing thing, because that factor may have been the contributing factor that first time around. But you're not acknowledging that things are truly always different, even when a lot of the circumstances are the same. Or maybe it's just the ones that you're highlighting, because every situation is made up of infinite circumstances and infinite contributors. And our brains are just made to prioritize things by all sorts of sets of rules that are very personal and very much subject to change. And recently now, when I realize that I have a thought of, oh, that thing was great, that helped the result, I must remember to do it again. That trying to keep that in your mind, it's a grasping, it's a holding on to something. It's just, in the end, exerting a pressure and a stress that is not necessary and really not helpful. So now I just had a really nice experience of noticing a thing like that. We're recording. Yesterday we were recording and today we're recording. And you see there are circumstances I could highlight that are the same. It's the same people I'm with. It's the same location. But there are other circumstances which now to me are much more prominent, which before may not have been, that are very different. The weather, for example, is extremely different. The temperature, that's something that really affects everything. And I'm a singer, so yesterday the circumstances arose in which I gave myself a gua sha face massage beforehand, which made sense to me as something that would help my singing, because I'm moving my face and loosening up my face and giving myself more option for, like facial movement. And then I remembered, oh, I had a thought. It just arose. It didn't feel like I was having it. It arose that I had the thought. I just mixed both of it. That's something I should do tomorrow, as like a little to-do list, a little thing, throwing it into the future, grasping onto a future that doesn't exist, convincing myself with this morsel of evidence that future does exist. And then today, circumstances just didn't arise for me to do that. And instead of pressuring myself to do it when it's not naturally occurring, or judging myself for not doing it, or any of these things that usually would be arising, that I was very used to, conditioned to think, none of that happened today. And I'm feeling very free. And that's something I'm noticing all over the place as realization deepens. That the freedom, it's not what the mind thinks it is. The freedom comes into your life and surprises you in unexpected places and ways. But it's very profound. So to summarize, that's one little thing. Observing something, thinking that this and this is going to make better what you're doing, and then trying to remember it and trying to implement it the next time, when the next time is already entirely different anyways. That's something that I used to do a lot, that is easy for me to observe right now, that I can directly see is liberating me when I realize, or that is the liberation also, that I don't have to do that.